Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and other assorted gender assignations. Welcome to the Board To Death Bingecast, where we take TV shows and movies and binge them in easily digestible chunks. I am Jay Winger. I am being joined by
Chris
and
Zeke.
Also here is Zeke's wife, Kat, from Shadow Cat Cosplay. She may or may not join in whenever she's done eating. To kick off the Bingecast, we are going to watch the new Netflix sitcom, The Big Show Show, featuring WWE's Big Show. I am a big wrestling fan, and I know that Big Show is at least pretty good with comedy, so I'm looking forward to this.
And the original Sonic the Hedgehog voice, Jaleel White.
Jaleel White.
A lot of people will also know as Steve Urkel from Family Matters.
I was not aware he was in this, so that's pretty cool. Hey, it's fine, because I'll obviously find that out probably within the first episode. But hey, regardless, anything else anybody needs to add before we pause this so we can binge?
If you like 90s sitcoms, you'll definitely enjoy it.
I did grow up watching 90s sitcoms, stuff like Home Improvement, yes, Friends, and Seinfeld, and some of that other stuff. So Full House, yes. I do remember Full House. But so we're going to pause this here, and we'll be back after we binge. And we're back after binging episodes 1 through 4 of The Big Show Show. Definitely has a lot of 90s vibes. I think you commented on that.
It really does. They got the laugh track, but they don't have the, what did you say? It doesn't have the,
Yeah, there hasn't been anything else other than the laugh track and some of the incidental transition music.
Yeah.
There hasn't been there was that one brief awe thing when Cass and Lola had the bonding moment at the tattoo parlor in episode 3.
Which is probably a different place for a stepmom and stepdaughter to bond.
Yeah. Neither do I. But yeah, the show basic premise is Big Show has retired from wrestling and is spending more time with his family. His eldest daughter from a previous marriage is moving to Tampa to live with him and his new wife and his daughters from that marriage, and typical sort of family sitcom things start happening.
I'm honestly wondering how much of this show reflects on his things that have actually happened to him, because he was in a previous marriage. He did have a kid with that previous marriage, and then got remarried to somebody else and had 2 more kids with that person.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much of, like I said, his real life was used for the show.
Oh, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes because wrestlers don't always divulge everything about their personal lives because they want to keep some of that secret. So. Yeah, that's true. As Zeke said, there was Show's wife, Cassie, works in real estate, and they make mention of Undertaker and his wife being in real estate also. I don't know whether...
I think they are, because I think I remember reading about how he actually does have a business on the side outside of wrestling.
I know that Sting does real estate when he's not in the ring, which is, of course, all the time now. But I think it's a common thing because if you want to invest your money, investing it in land is one of those things you tend to do. But yeah, the daughters sort of run the gamut of modern sort of kids. One very sort of socially minded feminist, one running for lower class president. The evil genius, JJ, his youngest daughter, who actually literally dresses up as Gru.
Like an earlier moment in the show, he does say that every single Halloween she dresses up as Gru.
Yeah.
And she gets thrown into this different type of class.
Yeah, she gets moved to the advanced track in their prep school.
They're sitting there with her, and lo and behold, table, she has the Gru scarf on, and they're all sitting there going, banana, banana.
Yeah. As they point out, she has minions.
She got all the smartest kids in the room to say banana.
Mm-hmm.
You want to tell them what you saw on the chalkboard?
Oh yeah, this is one of those things I'm almost gonna have to go back and look to see if they've changed it in each episode. But there's like a chalkboard in the background of the kitchen set where they have like little notes about stuff for the various for his daughters, and JJ there. In one episode, it's just listed conference call with Elon M and Jeff B. So. Definitely sort of emphasizing that she is a very, very ambitious evil genius. Although I don't know if I would call Elon Musk an evil genius necessary. Genius, yes, but evil? I don't know. But Bezos, yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, based on what we've seen so far, what do we think of this?
I'm definitely entertained by it. We're definitely going to binge the second half soon, just so we can wrap it up. Yeah, it hits a lot of those predictable 90s sitcom tropes, but it does it pretty well. So I'm happy with that. And we forgot to mention Jaleel White is in the series, as well as Big Show's friend Terry, who's like a kooky inventor. Oh, we did? Okay, sorry. Yeah. So, but yeah, I would definitely recommend giving it a look-see, especially if you're a wrestling fan, because it's the Big Show. He has good comedic timing. So
not only that, but you also have, and this is in the trailers. We obviously haven't gotten to the episode yet, but there is an episode where two or three other wrestlers actually show up.
Three, from as I remember from the trailer: Rikishi, Mick Foley, and Mark Henry.
Yes. So you get those three. So hopefully he'll be able to get more.
Yeah.
Guys.
If the series becomes successful enough, then they can get other wrestlers to make cameo appearances and such.
I think it's going to do pretty well. I mean, everybody. It's trending.
Well, there you go. And Big Show, Big Show they've been hyping it in WWE stuff. We saw a couple of commercials for it during WrestleMania, I believe.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, they showed the trailers during WrestleMania. It popped on after WrestleMania, and there was also a show with Big Show after WrestleMania for the championship. So.
Oh yeah. They did have like an impromptu match on Raw. Well, technically, they said it happened. It happened like 20 minutes after Drew McIntyre had won the championship. But it was like, we're not here to talk about wrestling. We're here to talk about the show. But yes, they were. It was essentially another way for them to sort of plug the show during Raw.
One thing I'm surprised that and I'm wondering how they managed to get away with this. I'm sure they had to ask for special permission to use this. Is using his theme song.
I mean, yeah, WWE, I'm sure, had a hand in producing this to some extent.
Thank God they did not go through WWE Studios.
Thank God, yes. Although I think WWE Studios now is more just doing distribution stuff as opposed to producing.
Yeah.
But regardless, I would definitely give it a recommendation to check out if you're looking for some 90s sitcom comedy.
Something that's in the same tone, I guess, as the 90s sitcoms, like Full House. I wouldn't really say Fresh Prince because that was a different type of sitcom. But yeah, in the same vein as those, but without like them having like the emotional sit down talk, like was prominent with a lot of those shows at the time. Just kind of like take that away, and yeah, it's pretty much what it is.
Well, it's still a new series. Those very special episode things where they have the serious sit down and discuss serious issues. Maybe that'll come in a later season. But as it is, I'm kind of glad they're not trying to be too serious with it. They're basically keeping it fairly light.
And just a straight comedy.
Yeah.
I would be happy if they got more soundtracks.
More soundtrack besides the laugh track and incident and transition music. Yeah.
Just count how many laugh tracks that are. I swear to God, they had baby just pushing the button to see what happens when it happens.
Yeah. Well.
I mean, it's good
Hopefully so, but probably not for a little while. But at any rate, that
If they do a Christmas episode, they need Mick Foley as Santa Claus.
I believe the proper name for him is Saint Mick. Jolly old Saint Mick. But I'm hoping if they do end up doing some sort of Christmas episode in a later season, that's exactly what they do. But but yeah, recommendation from me, Chris,
Definitely.
Zeke.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps up this inaugural edition of the Bingecast. We'll see you soon for part 2.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen and other assorted gender assignations. Welcome back to the BTD Bingecast. I am J2K Winger, being joined again by
Zeke.
Cat from Cat Cosplay.
And Chris.
And we're here for part 2 of our Bingecast of The Big Show, the new Netflix sitcom. We watched the first half of the series last time. We may end up editing both parts together because it ended up being a pretty short podcast when all things were finished. So be on the lookout for that. But so not really a whole lot to say to preface this because there was not really too much long-term storytelling with this because it's only an 8-episode series.
We'll get to the further depth stories later.
Yeah, although sort of running storylines. Show's wife just got fired from her real estate job, and his middle daughter may have fallen in love with Taylor Swift. No, not that Taylor Swift. While she's running for class president, and
You forget the youngest one has become the evil mastermind.
yes, that's right. JJ, his youngest daughter, is a budding supervillain, which may or may not factor into things. But so that's I think where we're leaving off for right now. Anybody have anything else they need to add?
I want to watch Steve Oger get punched in the face one more time.
Yes, Jaleel White is in the series playing Big Show's kooky inventor best friend.
Who also works in a gym.
Works in a gym. Invented a blender, like an automated blender that didn't really work that well, and Gator Cam.
Gary Cam. We should train him. That was kind of fun.
Which was a fun little running gag through the episode, but again, I don't know how well that works. But
There is a question I would like to ask, because you guys have watched more sitcoms than I have. Isn't there always like a mentor in the show? Have we ran across said mentor in this
mentor?
show?
Like it varies from.
You mean like Wilson, the next door neighbor on Home Improvement,
or Uncle Phil,
or Uncle Phil? Yeah, well, not particularly, but from the trailers, we know that some other older wrestlers make at least one cameo appearance. Maybe that we know of. Maybe one of them is going to end up being the old mentor.
Well, let's see what happens.
But so we're going to pause this here and be back after we're done with the binge.
We didn't do anything to it. That'd be hilariously messed up.
And we're back for the after our binge of the second half of the Big Show. Hitting a lot more of those sitcom tropes in the back half of the season. And pardon me, a couple of the others here are goofing around off mic. I don't know what's going on here.
We're sharing a mic. We can't help that. Right now, a hand is being used as the mic stand.
Okay, so there's that going on. But episode 5 had the obvious thing of daughter's first date and meeting the boyfriend.
Yeah, and the very rare occasion of the dad liking the boyfriend.
Well, it helped that the boyfriend was a big fan of the Big Show.
No pun intended.
Yes, but the boyfriend had probably one of the greatest names ever, Greg Turbo.
Supervillain.
No, the supervillain is JJ. Greg Turbo is the one who fights against her.
Turbo Man.
Plus the fact that he started dating the boyfriend.
Yep, that was the thing. The Big Show was more into the boyfriend than Lola was.
And he had a breakup with him.
Yep.
He had the fake breakup and then the real breakup.
And then the B plot of the episode was Cassie, his wife, dealing with the aftermath of getting fired, going through the process of emotionally dealing with it.
And what I learned from that, never take a woman off the process. It goes very south.
Damn
Yep.
straight.
That is very true. And the whole thing culminated with a Queer Eye cameo.
Which I was looking at that going, who is that? Because I didn't watch the show.
Yeah, I don't watch that show either. I'm just not into that sort of thing. But as soon as they were like, from Queer Eye, I was like, oh, okay.
Did we double check and verify before we said this?
No.
Did anybody go on Google like who hosted this?
No.
Okay.
I want to say Queer Eye came back as a Netflix series, but I can't say for certain. And I'm currently sitting trying to record this with everything on my lap. I can't really go look it up. So thank you, Kat, for volunteering for that.
Yay for free.
But it was also gave us one of the first examples of Big Show knows more than he lets on, and is more aware of things than he lets on, because he sort of helps salvage things for Cassie by helping her get set up with her own new business as a real estate person. So
it was actually the people from Queer Eye who actually decided to make an appearance. And yes, they do have a new Netflix series as well.
There you go. It's the same as if you had a crossover on like ABC, if it were two ABC sitcoms.
Yeah, well, I'm...
CW.
Or whatever.
Yeah, I think we all know which CW shows do the most crossovers.
Yeah.
But, no, it's like...
There it is, Queer Eye, right there on the Netflix.
You have the power of Google. I have the power of Netflix. Which will win?
Well, I mean, she found it first, so...
I just left it up there like that. I think it's cute.
And yeah, details. Then there was the sixth episode, which was the cruise episode. Big Show goes on a WWE cruise, brings Cassie along, and
it's for their anniversary, and
Yep.
he decided to do the whole mixed business with pleasure, which is always a mistake.
yeah, always goes
And
wrong.
he has a couples massage with a big black man.
Mark
AKA
Henry,
Mark
yeah.
Henry, the world's strongest man.
Well, I gotta say, mixing pleasure and work is never a bad thing. That's how we met.
True.
Yes, but you didn't mix pleasure with business at your place of business.
In other words...
Not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it probably would have gotten you both fired.
However, somebody did do that in the family restroom.
Story time.
Oversharing. But
And the woman was not happy.
But the B plot of that episode was while the parents were away, the girls decided to throw a party. You can imagine, didn't exactly go quite as planned, although not nearly as bad as it usually does in those sorts of tropes.
No, it really didn't. But amongst the other cameos that we had in it was Mick Foley and Rikishi.
Yep.
I still swore.
All of them sort of taking advantage of Big Show's generosity with the shrimp tower that he got for his wife and the chocolate straws.
Yeah, and what was it that Mark Henry said? He's like, man, do you know how to grow these?
Yeah, they played up that Mark Henry doesn't know that chocolate-covered strawberries aren't grown that way.
You dip them. They don't grow with chocolate on them.
No, the unfortunate thing about this episode is you have the...
was the performance of them singing Backstreet Boys?
Yeah, you have three grown wrestlers, well, former wrestlers at this point, singing I Want It That Way
By the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
And let's just say, don't quit your day jobs.
Whatever they happen to be at this point in time.
In Mick's case, it's probably author and stay-at-home husband.
Yeah.
I can't speak for Rikishi, but he's probably. But I can't really speak for Rikishi. Mark Henry, I know, works backstage at WWE nowadays.
Gotta help them new boys strengthen up somehow. You're not lifting heavy enough.
More weight. And again, we got another case of Big Show knows more than he lets on, because while they got JJ, the little budding criminal mastermind that she is, to hack all the cameras in the house so that Mom and Dad weren't aware of the party, Big Show had planted another camera without their realizing it.
It's where he plants it is what makes it even funnier.
Exactly.
All I'm going to say is it's right by the front door.
And we'll leave it at that. If you watch the episode, you'll see what we mean.
Also, the fact that he didn't call his wife beautiful. He called it
the belt beautiful.
It's that scene in the trailer.
It's
where,
like, God, you are so beautiful.
Yeah, he looks at one of his WWE Championship belts, and he goes, "God, you're so beautiful." His wife goes, "Are you talking to me or the belt?" And he goes, "You."
Well,
but you missed the part while he's like sort of putting his palm over the belt just so he can't look it in the eyes.
And then he winks at his wife. I was afraid to say her, because then somebody probably would be like, her, his wife, or her, the belt?
Yeah. And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Then there was the seventh episode of the series was where things started going a bit wrong for the family in general. Mandy, who had started dating her rival for class president, breaks up with him in the middle of the debate.
No, vice versa.
Oh, that's true. He broke up with her because she wouldn't agree, because they had decided privately to have a debate without actually debating anything. They were going to just support one another's arguments.
They would agree with everything that was said by everybody.
Exactly. And then he basically said, instead of a salad bar, let's have a candy bar. And she's like, no, that's seriously unhealthy. And he's like, how dare you? And breaks up with her publicly in front of everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. I honestly just didn't see that little plot going past season 1.
Yeah, same here. I wouldn't be surprised if Taylor makes a return in season 2, but I doubt they're going to revisit the whole
dating scene.
Yeah, although they did leave a hint at something for like a little plot hook for season 2 with what was it, Kevin David Perry?
Yeah, and prefers to be called, what was it, KD? And she goes, KD Perry. God!
Yeah, and she starts screaming in frustration about it. B-plot stuff going on there. Lola's best friend from Minnesota, Alex, is brought out to visit for a bit and basically pitches the idea to Lola, hey, you're missing out on all this great stuff that we're doing back in Minnesota. Why don't you move in with me and my mom to finish out high school?
And the 30-year-old has finally moved out of their house.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, sounds very familiar. But that's all we're going to say about that.
And the whole room goes silent.
Was it episode 8 where Big Show was, thinking of going back, or was that episode 7?
Episode 7 is where he rediscovered that he missed wrestling and wanted to get back into it.
The girls' club.
Yeah, Joe.
He was wrestling like members of the public for charity.
So I would say we went back. I think it was episode 5 of Julian White, lifting the dumbbell.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But his picture is spacing out, thinking about something. I don't remember what it was.
It was about the cruise.
No, it was about Greg Turbo.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was the dating one. I still wish he lifted it up with one.
Yeah,
hand.
there was the gag that we're talking about is Jill White's character Terry asks Show to spot him while lifting some weights. Big Show gets distracted as Terry's getting crushed by it, and Big Show just sort of casually picks it back up into place, but does it with 2 hands, and we were all like, it would have been funnier if he had just been like, given how casually he just sort of displays his strength through the rest of the series. Ripping doors off of frames and punching holes through walls and stuff.
Well, yeah, because what was it? He got startled in one scene and he accidentally popped a door off the hinge.
Yeah.
And he said the best line ever. Remember how much you love me after how many doors I've broken off?
Yeah.
Now, then there's going to be your favorite line that's going to be, use whenever somebody wants you to get off the couch. You're going to need a forklift.
So I'm not moving.
Plus, now we know that if you're a bald guy, do not ever get confetti on your head.
Yes. I can speak from personal experience with that. And that's all we're going to say about that.
Well, it's only bad if you're bald and sweaty.
This is true. The episode 7 is also where we got our first real Full House moment.
Yeah, they finally did the aww.
Yeah, they upgrade from laughter to awws.
Yeah, at one point in time though, it was like a really like low volume aww.
Yeah, but it was when the girls all basically agreed to, or got back together, and Mandy sort of cheered up from her depression of the breakup, and Lola says, I'm staying here, I'm not moving back to Minnesota, so JJ's happy about that. And meanwhile, Cassie is getting more and more clients for her business, so she's getting cheered up again. So things start to turn up until in Big Show's last charity match, which was supposed to be his last wrestling match, he suddenly announces, I'm going back to WWE! And everybody's like, what?
What?
Sad part is you can actually put the lines up of real life events.
Very, very close to it, yeah.
So I'm going back to wrestling. I wrestled this one guy for the championship. I'm retiring from wrestling now.
Which is literally what he did on Raw following WrestleMania. And so, yeah, episode 8 deals with the fallout of that, because he's going back to wrestling. Family's not happy, but they decide to try to make the best of it. Problem is, Lola's getting stressed out because Show's not around to help teach her how to drive. JJ decides to cope by getting a dog against her parents' wishes.
And permission.
Mm-hmm. And Mandy sort of gets roped into helping cover for the dog, and she's a bad liar.
Really bad. And
then the traitorous Bennett,
which we did not mention in the last podcast.
We forgot about that in the first half of the series. Cassie had an assistant while she was working for the real estate company, Bennett, who stabbed her in the back and got her fired. And in this episode, we find out that his dad fired him
for shaking his hand. And
no, it wasn't just for shaking his hand. It was because he shook his hand, and then Bennett filed an HR complaint, right? And so he
those complaints will get you fired.
Mm-hmm. And Bennett ends up getting hired as an assistant, and promptly shows that he's still a traitorous ass when he finds out about the dog and blackmails the girls about it.
I want to know what part of his brain went, this sounds like a good idea. I want to blackmail my boss's daughters.
It's a sitcom arch nemesis. You don't really think too deeply into it.
Plus the fact that they were trying to... The reason why they weren't allowed to get a dog is because, supposedly, Big Show was
allergic.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And he needed to use a garden hose for a neti pot.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was his joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a joke. I think
when the truth of all this gets revealed, Bennett gets fired again, and the truth comes out that Big Show's not allergic. It's just that Cassie doesn't want to have to take care of the dog by herself, and everybody gets pissed at the Show over it. And then
he's cuddling with the dog.
Yep.
I was honestly expecting for the camera to switch over. You just see him all red and puffy. And
me too. I was just sort of I love it, but he's bad for me, or something.
He's something with Quasimodo or something.
That may have been too much makeup effects for a Netflix show like this.
I don't know. Have you seen Stranger Things?
Stranger Things somehow managed to get away with it, but Stranger Things probably eats up all of Netflix's budget for that sort of thing.
No. Bright's makeup costs.
And probably some of the makeup costs on The Witcher.
Yeah.
At any rate, episode 8 climaxes with Big Show getting hit in the head with a steel chair, because wrestling, and has a dream sequence where everything goes wrong because he never retired.
It's literally the what if type of story.
Yeah, It's a Wonderful Life kind of thing.
Yeah, where it's like what if he never retired or what if he never stopped wrestling? Like, what if he just kept going, and then he got to see how life would have been if he never stopped.
I know I maybe shouldn't be thinking this, but I wanted to see what's his name, Steve Wilkos' counterpart be the Angel, though.
Yeah, that's right. Terry ended up being the angel in this scenario, sort of showing Big Show this is what would happen if you had never retired. Your wife would be working for the evil Bennetts. Mandy never develops confidence. JJ never moves up to the smart kids class and learns how to be a supervillain.
And Lola never moves to Tampa.
And but it's that which means Mandy never develops the confidence that she needed to succeed in everything she does. And so he quits, comes back to his family, and yay, happy, Full House sort of moments.
Yeah, where they're all happy, hugging and whatever, and they have like a mock wrestling match together.
And the dog wins the fight.
No, the dog was the referee.
Referee, please.
Thank you.
Oh no! The Corona!
Yeah, we are recording this in the middle of the lockdown, but I suppose everybody's doing everything in the middle of lockdown right now. But it's I think it wasn't a bad sitcom. It pretty predictable, but not terrible.
I think the second half is the stronger half.
I agree.
The first half, I'm sitting there going, I don't want to watch no more.
Because you just don't like sitcoms.
Apparently, the only sitcom I ever watched more than 10 episodes was Home Improvement. Who would have thunk it?
Home Improvement was a good one.
Did you watch Titus when it was on?
No.
Oh.
That's one to put on the list.
The list is too damn long.
It is too damn long.
It's longer than Jericho's list, okay?
Okay, so we can do that because I own the first 2 seasons. However, good luck tracking down season 3 because Christopher Titus said it himself to me when I met him. Yeah, the 3rd season is like the holy grail.
You just wanted to say that, didn't you?
No.
Well,
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, I definitely say if you're a wrestling fan and you like old '90s sitcom type stuff.
Late 90s.
Yeah, late '90s.
Okay, if you ever watched the TGIF lineup back when it was still on, I don't know if it's still on or not.
I think it long since died, but
Probably. But that was when they had shows like, they did have Full House, they had Family Matters, and they had a few others. I just don't remember what. Oh, I think one of them was Step by Step, but I might be wrong about that.
Sounds about right.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That was one of them.
Yep.
actually, I did watch a few episodes of that one.
Sabrina?
Yeah.
Well, that's because it was entertaining. You had a talking cat.
Who does not like a talking cat? Wait, so you tell me every sitcom needs a talking animal to make it entertaining?
Or at least make it a fever dream, whichever.
That's true.
It's a sitcom trope. You need to have it.
Mm-hmm.
All I gotta say though is, Salem, he's his own thing. You can't even, no one can beat Salem.
Something tells me you haven't seen Chilling Adventures.
I
Okay, never mind then.
So, we should probably ask the following question then. If it comes back for season 2, what would we want to see in season 2 of the Big Show show?
More cameos.
More cameos. Well, more cameos in general. Doesn't just have to be wrestlers, but wrestlers is easier, I
Okay,
think.
so who would we want to see cameo in it?
John Cena.
Undertaker.
Undertaker would be amazing if it's just him not in character.
They have to do Undertaker because they mentioned Undertaker twice.
This is true. They did mention him a couple of times in the
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold. Yeah, Stone Cold I think would be great because he has good comedic timing.
Another person will be Glenn Jacobs, aka Kane.
But he's busy being mayor of his home county.
If Arnold Schwarzenegger can have a scene in the first Expendables movie when he's
running
a state.
The governor, yeah.
Yes, then he can. Then Glenn Jacobs can, or I'm sorry, Kane can have a cameo in this.
The Rock.
Good luck.
Yeah, that's true.
We're talking about a Netflix budget here, okay?
This is true, but The Rock would probably be like,
Okay.
I'll do this episode for a cup of coffee.
Okay, so here's another thing. If Arnold Schwarzenegger can do a low budget zombie movie for free than The Rock can do a little bit of the Big Show.
It's more finding space in his schedule.
Yeah.
That's the trick. Because The Rock is working all the damn time.
Well, right now he's working on watching Moana with his youngest daughter. Now,
Which is adorable.
And training his current daughter.
His oldest daughter, yeah.
His oldest daughter, I'm sorry.
Because they're all his current daughters.
What is my current dog?
It's
Wait,
to the side that
too soon, man. Too soon.
But he I know he's training his oldest daughter to be in WWE. Now here's another thing: is what was everybody's favorite episode?
I kind of think I would go with episode 7. It feels like that's when Big Show was really starting to feel comfortable in the character. It felt like there was a little bit of awkwardness in a few of the earlier episodes.
There's too many of the stereotypical
Yeah.
dad sitcom tropes.
Yeah, but I feel like that's when all the characters really started hit their stride and were flowing pretty well.
Yeah.
I really can't answer this question because like every episode is okay with me. I wouldn't say I have a specific favorite.
All right,
I would have to say that the one that made me giggle the most is JJ hyped on Candy being a DJ.
Yeah. Yep.
That one was pretty good too.
What was your favorite episode?
I would have to go with the boyfriend one where
Greg Turbo.
one scene. Terry trying to lift the weights.
She loves her physical comedy, does Kat?
For me, I'd have to say, I think my favorite one is, if I remember correctly, it was episode 2. It was the one where he hung up the PE teacher on the wall.
Oh.
because of the stuff, the way they were talking to each other is what made it funny to me. Where he's just like, He's like, are you bad mouthing a former soldier? And he's like, and he says like some line like, no, I'm talking to a gym teacher
Who shops at Baby Gap.
who shops at the Baby Gap. That line just had me cracking up. The PE teacher is short.
Yeah, the trash talk that Big Show came up with, also in episode 7 when he's trash talking the people that he's wrestling for charity was also hilarious.
He's about as tall as Big Show's belly button.
Yeah.
And the guy's trying to body slam him. He's like, "You're gonna feel the pain in the morning," and you can tell he's just like, "All right, dude, just stop." Then he just body slams him, and that's when he starts feeling.
It's like, he makes some sort of comment. It's like, you're talking real big for a guy whose mom dropped him off. The guy was like 40 years old.
Yeah, pretty much trying to push.
I mean, I already gave my answer. Episode 7 was my favorite.
Very good.
You brain dead now
A
too?
little bit. Yeah.
Well, I guess that question also answered what was your favorite line?
I mean, I had forgotten about I'm talking to a short gym teacher who shops at the Baby Gap. was probably the best line. Although I will say, as cheesy as it is, the line where he basically retired from wrestling again to stay with his family at the end of episode 8, where he's just like, my heart just wasn't in it because I left it here with you. I was like, oh yeah, and I'm like, that's sappy as hell, but damn, that's good.
Yeah. Now, since Jaleel White's in it, are you kind of hoping that they find some weird way to get some Family Matters people?
That would be good, but if they don't, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it too, but it would still be kind of cool, like if one of them shows up and is like, "Oh, this is my cousin" or whatever.
See, the only reason why that works for the other show, Last Man Standing, is because Tim Allen.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I don't think they could ever do that Last Man Standing. A Big Show.
You never know. They might be able.
They got a Queer Eye cameo in here. Next thing you know, in season 2, they're going to be watching season 4 of Stranger Things because synergy.
Yeah. So.
Or BoJack Horseman or whatever.
Just name the thing that flashes on the TV.
Exactly. I happened to look up. There's a BoJack Horseman ad on the TV screen right now.
Basically, like one of the other Netflix series.
Yeah.
On it.
But yeah, I think that sort of nicely summarized it. It's decent sitcom. If you're a wrestling fan, maybe check it out. It's only eight episodes, half an hour each, so it's not like it's a huge investment of time.
Plus, if anybody has seen this one, Big Show is good at comedy. If you go back and you watch The Rock's first Saturday Night Live episode,
yes,
yeah, it has great comedy from not just The Rock, but Big Show, Mick Foley, and Triple H. Even Vince McMahon is in that episode.
Yeah, and because Vince McMahon was the one who got to do the live from New York, it's Saturday night.
Well, see, what cracked me up was when Big Show walked up, and you can tell he's holding something behind his back, and they're like, "Show."
Yeah, he's just like, well, no, it's because Vince was telling them, we're not going to attack The Rock because we're trying to hype up WrestleMania. We want this to be a success, so no jumping him from the crowd, no putting him through tables or anything. And it's like, Mick, you understand? Yeah, okay. Trips, yep. Show. What have you got behind your back?
And he's like, nothing, nothing. And he's slowly turning around, and he's got a steel chair.
An entire steel chair.
And if I remember correctly, I think at one point in time he was also carrying Chris Kattan, and he's like, can I keep him?
I found that mango guy. Can we keep him? Because it was Chris Kattan in his mango character outfit.
Well, he was sure as shit wasn't acting in character at the time.
Yeah, because, well, when a 7 foot tall giant walks up and says, "Here, you're coming with me," you say, "Yes, sir."
See, the only thing I've ever seen Big Show in, comedy-wise, is Jingle All the Way, when he was the elf.
The giant elf,
Yeah. No, he wasn't an elf. He was the giant Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Elf,
You're
he
right.
was Santa Claus.
You're right. You're
That
right.
makes a little bit more sense.
I remember the dwarf, and he wasn't an elf. He was one of the Santa Clauses attacking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Because it's a Schwarzenegger movie.
I wonder if that gave Arnold any flashbacks to Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant and Wilt Chamberlain both hoisting him up off the ground.
Yeah. And what was it when Arnold tried paying for his tab and...
Yeah, and then Andre the Giant just walks up and just like picks him up and carries him back to the table. It's like, no.
All right, so does that about wrap it up?
That about wraps it up. Next Bingecast I think we're planning on doing is
My Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia. I will be the fresh set of eyes on that one because a lot of people in this house like that series. I have not seen it, so time to see what all the fuss is about.
It's like if One Punch Man formed an academy.
Supposedly, there is a theory about that.
It all takes place in the same universe. I've heard.
But, regardless, that's all from the Bingecast for this time. So for Zeke, Chris, and Kat, I'm Jay, and see you next time. See you next time. See you next time. See you next time.